The idea is that one sets out to write a novel. It's a very subjective thing. But it's then learning to step outside of it and say, well, as a reader, how would I respond to this? And I think that's very important when somebody who's writing a novel then comes to work with an editor. It's about being open to constructive criticism and recognising that anybody who's looking at your written work is trying to help you realise the vision that you started off with. And to help you make the book and the thesis the best that it can possibly be.
I do engage a lot with my audience via social media. And this is, again, the point of the novel, which is to say that is real, that I think that is just as real a relationship and as valid a communication as face-to-face. And I think, in fact, I know I am more honest online than I am in person, because I feel much more nervous in person talking to people. So I talk to huge numbers of readers on Twitter and on Facebook, and other teenagers who don't happen to be readers but happen to be on Twitter and Facebook. I watch huge amounts of teen television as well, so I suppose I engage to that extent. But yes, I do engage with my audience.
Novelists, we have to think about our audience anyway. I think it's less... One of the nice things about the PhD is that even though, yes, you have to think about who your readership will be, there's something about the PhD that kind of allows you to explore. So that's definitely more in my hindbrain. It's not the focus. I'm not thinking about markets or readership, really. I'm just thinking about the content and writing it in a way that I do and that hopefully will, speak to a certain readership.
Well, readers are this kind of psychic nightmare over there that I worry about all the time, but have to know that I have to not worry about. And audience, in terms of academic audience, I think about getting a good PhD, but it's not something that I spend a lot of time worrying about. And publishing and agents, of course, you worry about pleasing them. So yes, the audience idea is a big one, and it is out there. And I don't really speak that much to agents and editors, just because I think the worry can intrude quite a lot quite early.
Because it's an interactive narrative, I need to test whether it's, during the process of making the work, whether it's actually working, whether I need to test my hypothesis. So I haven't done it, started doing it yet, but I will be actually testing the work on sample groups of reader players, of users. And that's that is actually an essential part of developing any kind of interactive work, whether it's a website to a 3D game. They always need to be tested on the user.
There's no point writing a novel without being aware of who you're writing it for. The audience can and should shape what you write. Otherwise you're writing in a vacuum, you're writing purely for yourself. I don't write novels for my own self-indulgence. I'm writing commercially because I want this novel to speak to the audience, but before it can do that, it needs to be published. If I want an audience, I have to think about them at every point in my writing, without a doubt.
Of course, as a writer now, it's not just enough to be able to write your book and then send it out into the world and then sit back and in your ivory tower and write another one. There is an expectation from publishers and that you will go out and engage with a wider audience, quite rightly so. Apart from anything else, it helps to sell the books. But it's also, if one's thinking from a practical point of view, it's a very good source of income for writers to go into schools and colleges and conferences and to speak about their work and to speak about writing and so on and so forth.